Hi, I'm Upwards, and welcome to another day in the life with me, and today with the OPPO Find N2 Flip. Okay, so let's talk about why the OPPO Find N2 Flip in 2024. When the OPPO Find N2 Flip came out last year, it was a pretty strong challenger against the ZFlip. The OPPO Find N2 Flip was very unique and had a set of features that were quite different from any other foldable in the market. These features include a vertical cover screen, a Dimensity chip as opposed to a Snapdragon, a bigger battery, and a price that undercuts Samsung Z Flips by a decent margin. But in 2024, a lot has changed and there's been a lot more foldables that have entered the market since the OPPO Find N2 Flip has made its way. So let's see how the OPPO Find N2 Flip does in 2024. I'm going to be testing out the performance, the display, the cameras, and of course the battery life to see how the OPPO Find N2 Flip holds up and whether you should buy one in 2024. Now obviously the OPPO Find N3 has already come out in some regions, which makes the OPPO Find N2 a bit more cheaper, which may be a pretty good alternative for those people who are looking for a budget flip phone. I'm going to be keeping a battery indicator on the bottom of the screen so you guys can see how the OPPO Find N2 Flip does throughout the day. It's currently 941 and our battery percentage is at 97%. So let's get into this day in the life. Taking a look at the design of the Find N2, we have a frosted coated glass finish all around, which feels pretty premium. The folding mechanism feels reliable and pretty consistent. My one issue is that at certain angles, the screen will start to tilt by itself, unlike the Z Flips, which can be positioned at any angle. Overall, the design isn't as premium as the Z Flips, but it still feels great in the hand. It looks very sleek and aesthetic. Alright, so I've reached town and let's quickly check in with the OPPO Find N2 Flip. It's currently 11:13 and our battery percentage is 85%. Okay, now let's talk about performance. Okay, so the OPPO Find N2 Flip is equipped with the Dimensity 9000 Plus chip, which is actually a pretty decent mid to high range chip. We also can have 8GB of RAM, which you can also expand by using internal storage to another 8GB RAM, so you can get up to 16GB of RAM with expandable RAM technology. Now, so far, I've been using the phone quite a bit this morning, going through my social media, checking out messages, replying people, also jumping on YouTube, checking out the new Apple Intelligence stuff as WWDC was just a few days ago. And so far, everything has been super snappy on this phone. Yes, the Dimensity 9000 Plus is not the fastest chip, but it's snappy enough to do pretty much everything you need to do at pretty fast pace. I'm pretty impressed by the performance. Nothing has been lagging or buggy, and the apps haven't been reloading, so that's been great to see. Launching apps is super quick, and doing all of my regular activities on my phone has been pretty snappy and smooth so far. I'm also pretty impressed by the software and the optimization for the flip capabilities, and I haven't noticed any jankiness with the cover screen or the normal screen, and there's no complaints from me from the performance side. Another feature that I really like about the OPPO Find N2 Flip is that it has a really solid haptic engine inside. Coming from an iPhone where the haptic engine is pretty much the best out of any smartphone out there, the OPPO Find N2 Flip does have a pretty decent haptic engine that does vibrate pretty strongly and it doesn't feel like a weak rattle. So that's my take on performance on the OPPO Find N2 Flip. I'm about to go off and get some study done. I'll talk to you guys later. I did do some study. Okay, so just taking a quick break. I'm gonna go to my university campus. We'll keep going on with the day in our lives. Okay, so I'm currently at uni now. It is 1:30 and our battery percentage is at 68%. So that's pretty good so far. Okay, so let's talk about the display of the OPPO Find N2 Flip. So when you open it up, we do have a pretty big 6.8-inch OLED 120Hz refresh rate display, which is pretty high-end in 2024. we also do have a pretty minimal crease. One of the biggest things that separates the OPPO Find N2 Flip from the ZFlip is that the crease is very unnoticeable. It does still have a slight dip in the middle of the screen, but it's not as noticeable as a ZFlip by a long mile. Talking about the brightness of the screen, it can go up to a peak brightness of 1600 nits or 1200 nits on high brightness mode, and it looks pretty good in most lighting conditions, so you can pretty much view it pretty much anywhere. I have had no issues being able to use it in the sun, and I can see the content pretty clearly. Colors and contrast look pretty good on this phone. Now, the cool thing about this phone is that it also has the cover screen, which is a 3.26-inch cover display, which is actually pretty useful. You can do quite a few things on this outside screen. You can even take photos, check notifications, and it is also pretty bright. It can get up to 800 nits, which is pretty usable in most lighting conditions apart from direct sunlight. The cover screen is also pretty responsive, which means you can do quite a few things on it. And it's also HD, so things don't look too pixelated on that cover screen. The cover screen is also OLED, so that is actually pretty cool to have a pretty usable screen on the outside. Okay, I'm gonna go back to do some more study. Hi guys, so I'm with Shane and we're gonna take some photos with the OPPO Find N2 Flip, see how the photos look.
Okay, what do I say?
You say whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
The Find N2 Flip is equipped with a dual camera setup, 150 megapixel wide sensor and an 8 megapixel ultra wide. OPPO also worked with Hasselblad for the color science and development of these cameras. Taking a look at these pictures, the main wide takes some really nice shots. A lot of these images are well exposed with a high dynamic range. Taking portraits and photos of people result in some well balanced skin tones and details on the face. Overall, it takes some pretty good images of people and doesn't have any over sharpness or any digital look when processing the faces. Where are we?
Oriental Bay.
Yay.
And we're gonna take some pictures and we're gonna drown.
What? Yeah, don't listen to Shane, guys. Don't listen to her. I don't know what she's saying.
English or Spanish?
What?
English or Spanish?
Tumahimik ka.
English or Spanish?
Okay, let's take some photos. Images look clean and sharp with minimal noise. Details are great even at low light, and the colors produced from this sensor are pretty awesome. Sometimes the exposure can be a little off, but overall the images coming out of this camera are close to flagship level. Taking a look at the ultra-wide, the low resolution does suffer a little, and the images that come out have good colors, but suffer with overall detail and sharpness. Video is not the Find N2 Flip's strength, being only able to shoot at up to 4K 30, and the quality isn't as good as other competitors such as the ZFlip. It also does not have OIS, optical image stabilization, so it doesn't have that stabilized look that you will find on other phones such as the ZFlip. Portrait mode works decently, but can still look artificial with an excessive amount of bokeh. Apart from the ultra-wide and video capabilities, I still think the main sensor is pretty capable and versatile, taking great images in most lighting conditions and environments. I'm pretty happy and impressed by these results that come from this main wide sensor. Okay guys, so we have finished taking some photos. You pretty happy with them?
Well, I don't have any choices. I'm happy eating. I think they like it. And since you were like looking at my pictures, what do I say?
Okay, so we pretty much reached the end of the day in my life, so it's time to go through the battery usage to see how the battery has performed throughout the day, and we're going to talk about how the OPPO Find N2 Flip did. So at 8:44, we have a battery percentage of 14%, and our screen on time is surprisingly 4 hours and 27 minutes, which is actually really good. Having this amount of battery at this time after this much of screen on time, I'm actually quite surprised, thinking that as a flip phone it wouldn't have the best battery life.
I knew it would be a bit better than the ZFlip 3 because it has about 1000 more milliamps, but this is surprisingly done really well today. It's not the best out of every phone out there, but for a flip phone, this did surprisingly very well. Okay, so let's talk about the OPPO Find N2 Flip and how it did throughout the day. So, the OPPO Find N2 Flip, as we just discussed, has a really good battery life and has great optimization for the flip abilities, as well as a pretty usable front cover screen. The front cover screen has a lot of different abilities. You can even play games, check out all your notifications. It's bright enough to be used in pretty much any lighting condition. Overall, the performance has been rock solid. Throughout the day, I had no bugs, lags or stutters, and everything has been super smooth on the OPPO Find N2 Flip. I do really enjoy using ColorOS, which is the operating system for Oppos, and it actually is pretty smooth, and I didn't notice any lags or stutters either in the software. Everything ran pretty smoothly, and I felt like it was a great experience. Turning to the display, we do have a pretty big 6.8-inch 120Hz refresh rate AMOLED display, which looks great in pretty much any lighting condition with that pretty high peak brightness of 1600 nits. And overall, I do think the display is pretty good on the Find N2 Flip, especially when the crease isn't that noticeable. Moving on to design, I do feel like it's not as premium as the ZFlip, but it still has a really nice aesthetic. The only thing that I do have against is that the hinge is a little bit loose, and I do feel like it could do with a bit more sturdiness like the ZFlips. And finally, with the cameras, I did feel that the main sensor was really good and almost flagship level. However, the ultra-wide and the video capabilities are a bit lacking, but otherwise the main camera is really good. So the OPPO Find N2 Flip does pass my day with flying colors, and I would recommend it for anybody who's looking for a good flip phone. Alright, I'm Upwards. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.